That's cool. I was trying to figure out
Cool.
whose voice was going to match whose body. Now I'm getting it.
Did it come out all right for you or no?
Yeah, you're both really attractive. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Ha! He's a good salesman. I knew.
He's good.
He's already
No,
lying.
You're good.
that's
You.
what I do. I sell toys all day.
Well, thanks for doing this. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. It's always fun. I love the guitar universe. This is a joy to me.
Yeah, we're Rob and I are in it every day. We're obviously you can see major gearheads and
You have a problem,
yeah, and that's not even. I mean, honestly,
but that's not natural. It's not healthy. It's yeah. I can that's a sickness.
oh God, and that's not. And the acoustics are strewn around the house. So
Well, that's the Ed Sheeran technique of one in every room, so you can have inspiration.
yeah, they're everywhere. The only
Right.
place they're not is the kitchen.
Yeah, that's healthy. You don't need them in the kitchen. That's
You know.
it's a little too close to Joy Division.
Yeah.
Those who know what I'm talking about. That's all I'll say.
But Mark, if you had it in the kitchen, you could serenade the meat.
That's true.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh God, I mean, I'm not even gonna take that one where it goes either. Well, so where do you guys all live?
I'm in Austin, Texas, and Rob is in New Jersey.
New Jersey,
Awesome.
Yeah.
right
I
on the
was just-
Jersey Shore.
I was just watching clips of The Sopranos this morning, so I'm just like, it brings me like those good memories from like the late '90s and early 2000s.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
I
it.
tell everybody. So my grandfather lives down in Tennessee. So like when I go down and visit there, when Sopranos was popular, people would say, "What's New Jersey like?" I'd say, "You watch Sopranos?" And they say, "Yeah." And I say, "It's exactly like that.
Just like
Exactly
Yes.
how it is."
No, I remember going by all the towns. When I lived up in Manhattan and Brooklyn
Right.
for a while, just seeing all the Jersey towns. I was like, this is so cool. There's like where the Bada Bing is, and
Yeah.
That's right.
So, but I'm on the shore. So like where they film Jersey Shore, I'm like
Yeah.
10 minutes from that town.
you're in
So
the classy part of Jersey.
yeah, sure.
Kind of,
Yeah.
that's nice. It's the fancy part. My
Yeah.
dad grew up in Jersey,
Yeah.
so
It is.
I get it.
Yeah. I grew up on Long Island and lived in some of the boroughs.
Mhm.
And so every year Rob sends me for Christmas, he sends me cookies.
Yeah.
It's like
Authentic,
a
authentic
The
Italian.
Italian cookies, yeah.
little taste of some sugar and some guilt.
Yeah. He's got to he's got to send me Sviadel though. That's what I really want to have.
That's perfect.
Some Sviadel.
All right. So I know what I'm sending next
Yeah.
year.
In December, yeah.
I'm gonna have to overnight that though because the cookies the last time took a week to get there. I paid for quick shipping and they never showed up.
Welcome to shipping.
All right, folks, let's get into this. If you haven't figured it out already, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is someone that we watch on a regular on YouTube. He's honestly, I think at this point, from a guitar standpoint, there's you guys and there's Andertons and then everybody else. After
That's super kind of you to say. Completely ridiculous, but I appreciate the compliment.
that. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Baxter Clement from Casino Guitars, casinoguitars.com.
I think I'm wearing the shirt too.
Hey, look at that.
I'm
He's
wearing-
Yeah,
wearing the shirt.
That's just because it was next to bed this morning when I got up too. This was not planned at all. It's very upsetting.
You know what I've been wondering? I watched the show particularly. I loved it's the first thing I put on when I'm working on a guitar. So
Right
if I have a guitar and maybe whatever, it's a restring, a neck adjustment, whatever I'm doing. And yesterday I was working on guitars all day, and had your show on just like on loop, and it was just going and going and going. Who did the theme song?
I don't even remember at this point. I think that was something that was done so long ago. I don't know. Because it was something about we'll change it every once in a while, and
Right.
for a bit, Derek had the theme song from Pornhub would sort of launch it off, and we do it and then people would email and call him like, Jesus, I dropped my phone or my computer, so my wife was in the room. I thought I clicked the wrong link, and so we do things like that every once in a while. So it's sort of a rip off of MTV a little bit, but that's the idea.
Yeah,
because the
well,
idea is
when you
like
had, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
CTV.
It's in the key of G.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, because like it's the whole idea of casino guitars, TV, MTV. I just ran into somebody at Target earlier this morning, and he was like, "Oh, nice MTV shirt." I was wearing this, and then we started talking how I used to work at MTV, and we were
Right.
laughing. He's like, "God damn, that Jersey Shore ruined MTV." I'm like, "Yeah, you're kind of right, but so did YouTube." Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Actually, the real world
Oh
ruined.
yeah, but I did love the Real World season one was amazing.
It was good. Yeah.
It
I,
was
I, uh, I,
oh
I was working for a music library for a little while in the early 2000s, and we did background music for the last Real World and what was that show with Jessica Simpson and her husband,
oh I,
Oh,
I
yeah.
the Newlyweds. The
Yes.
yeah,
Newlyweds.
what a
Okay.
great show. That was classic too.
Oh my
Classic
God.
MTV.
Chicken of the Sea. Are there chickens in the ocean?
One of my friends worked on that show, and she was a producer on that. I can't remember what level, but she said they were doing a cupcake bit, and Jessica would keep taking a bite, and then she would do the picture, but she didn't know not to swallow the cupcake. She ate like 5 cupcakes from doing the shot, and then she started throwing up, and she got really upset with the production team, and they're like, "Well, how do you not? You're not supposed to eat the cupcake. You're supposed to spit it out after each bite." No, it's a long story.
Oh my God.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. No, we did that. We did Road Rules. We did
Ooh, good one.
a whole bunch of different shows because we were working. We were farming out to Master Source. Remember Master Source?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So those folks.
I was a very low level peon in the news department.
Oh yeah. So did you work? Did you get to see the one and only Kurt Loder?
I did see Kurt. I worked directly more with Rebecca Rankin from VH1.
Yes.
And I don't know if she liked me very much, but I was there for a couple of years. I wasn't very good at my job either. They had to ingloriously let me go eventually, deservedly so. But I was there.
So I was reading about your bio and I was fascinated. So you're a classically trained musician.
Eventually, I figured out classical music middle through high school somehow.
Mm-hmm. And later on, you ended up in New York working in the pits on Broadway. What shows did you work on?
We worked on some of the I worked on lots of really bad shows, and then a few of the big ones. Like I got to play as a sub for Rent some, and
Nice.
that was God. That's when Joey Fatone was there. I think for a minute they called him Joey Fat One,
Right.
because that's how his name is spelled. But yes, but no, and I remember like the really bad ones. When there was one that I did the demos for, not the demos, but the rehearsals, and we went through. It's called Walk Away. It was about these two married couples, and the one wife was dying from some disease, but there was a talking cat, and the cat would start singing. And it was so bad, I couldn't wait for it to go and then close. It was awesome. But it was great. I loved it.
I see a lot of shows here in Austin, not only shows at clubs, but you know uh, travel casts of
Yes.
different Broadway shows and stuff like that, and I'm always enthralled with the people that work in the pit. To me, those are, I mean, you don't get any more musician than a pit musician. They are true musicians to me.
I feel like I was the worst of the pit musicians, but I somehow made it there because I was on time. I was somewhat affable. I didn't do drugs, so like it was
Mhm.
like you're hired and
Right.
you have the chops. And then I eventually got hired. I got to be on stage for a bunch of shows too eventually because they figured out I could pretend to be dead people. So I did the Buddy Holly story for a while and toured the whole country doing the Buddy Holly thing, and it was a lot of fun.
So hang on, time out. What, you played a dead person in the Buddy Holly story?
Well, no, I was Buddy
Oh.
Holly. So anybody's been
Oh.
dead. If I can, after we hang up, I'll have your voice nailed down too. It's this weird thing I do. I like hearing voices, and I can get them pretty quickly.
Right.
And so it's like Buddy was one of my guys, and then I could
Yeah.
do Johnny Cash and Buddy Holly, and then
Yeah.
and I'm a terrible actor. One of the worst you'll ever meet. Never had an acting class. Don't know anything about it. And all my friends that were actors would get so pissed at me. Like, how do you have a role? Because you suck. I'm like, I know, but I can play guitar and sing and dance and talk like this if I need to, and I talk like this, and however it had to
So
be. It was fun.
you can do a really great version of Rave On then?
Oh yeah, Rave On was my jam. That was the
That's-
closing number. That was the finale of the show.
Man. Well, that's my favorite Buddy Holly song of all time.
I love it. I mean, I'm old now, but I still do they in this local area I live, they still have me come out to the theater like once every year and just do like some Buddy Holly songs, and it's really sweet. And
Yeah.
I say performing for a sea of gray because it's all it's all more senior people in the audience. And it's cool. Like, they love Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
They remember losing their virginity to that song. I'm like, that's weird and sweet in the same breath.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because I was talking to somebody the other day about Buddy Holly and how he was really such uh, a spark, a moment in time that ended up creating so many other forms of music and other groups that, like the Bobby Fuller Four. There would have been no Bobby Fuller Four without Buddy Holly.
I don't think there would have been a lot of the rock and roll like the Rolling Stones in the way we know it. Or
Yeah.
I think he was that sort. He's not the most famous. He's not Elvis, but he's the songwriter and the producer and the creator.
Right. Right. And he was one of those first guys to use overdubbing in the way that he was, like, with Every Day. I mean, that's just all him on that track, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, the stuff he did.
Yeah,
for 50s.
He was brilliant. I had a few years ago. I'm kind of friends with Waddy Wachtel.
Oh, right on.
And had him on the show. Highly recommend that episode to anybody who wants to hear Waddy talk, because I didn't say a damn thing. Waddy just took it and ran, and that's the best guest ever. But he was telling me about, and I think this was off mic. He was telling me about an acoustic guitar that Buddy had that Gibson was going to recreate, and they were only making 100, and they were already set and for delivery to specific people, these 100 people, and Waddy was going to be one of them. And the first 20-something guitars, they were going to take the fret out of the original guitar and put it inside the sound hole of the guitar, as just like, you have a piece of Buddy's guitar in there.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I remember saying to him later on, I said, "Hey, Waddy, do you realize you kind of have like a little bit of Buddy DNA there?"
Yeah.
And it blew his mind. He hadn't really thought about it that way. And he's like, "Oh my God," he just lost his mind.
I tried to buy one of Buddy's amps. I think it was one of his Magnetones he had in New York City. And I'm naive. Sometimes like, oh, it'll go for like $10,000. It was like $100,000 something dollars, like for a little crappy Magnetone. But I was like, I would have spent $10,000, but I figured out how to somehow. But I can't buy a house for Buddy's amp.
Exactly.
My wife would not have approved.
Well, it's like that latest Christie's auction for Jeff Beck.
Oh yeah.
Which they had this one guitar that I said, oh, that's the one I'd really like to have. I'm a lefty, so that's the first one that I'd like to have was this one that was a lefty Strat, right-handed neck. It was a tribute to Jimmy, and it was estimating starting bids at 7,000, and
that's doable.
I would have been like, okay, this is something I got to talk to the wife about, and then the actual opening bid started at 12 grand. And then it ended up selling for 35.
That's a little less doable. We had Jeff Beck's guitar tech was in the shop. God, it was last year at some point. After Jeff had passed, and we were talking about what was going to happen with his estate. And so they took it out on tour for a little bit, let people see it, and now they're selling it. It's pretty cool. He was a really awesome dude.
That's great. That's
pretty
cool.
cool guy.
So, whenever I have somebody, like I've had George Gruen on the show, I've spoken with Norm.
Oh my God, George is amazing. I've known George for
he's a hoot.
God, probably 15 years or so, and like he is a trip. He'll forget more about guitars than I will ever know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He contacted me and said, "Hey, I've heard about your show and I'd like to be on your show." I was like, "Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do this." So we had our first conversation. It was 3.5 hours long, and I had to break it into 2 episodes. I was like, "Thank you so much for doing this. This is amazing. I mean, this is Smithsonian stuff, And a day later, he calls me back and he goes, "I'm not done."
No, that's how he is. George and I spent. I mean, it was one. We were up in. I think we were in Nazareth. We were in Martin together. It was like George, myself, and 2 other shops. They invited us up to figure out what they were doing wrong with something, and we spent 3 hours at dinner. He had steak and I had a brownie, talking about the evolution of transportation in the 1800s of Northeast Americana. And we didn't talk about guitars. It was great. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We did 45 minutes on the big cats that he collects.
Yeah. Have you been there yet?
No, I have not.
Oh yeah. Just go there and go upstairs. It's a trip, man. It's nothing. You haven't seen anything like it.
Yeah. But I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you. Why does somebody in their right mind become a dealer in fine instruments?
They don't. If you're in your right mind, you stay far away from it. No, there's no I'm me personally though, like I'm obsessed with the art of the guitar and also the art of the guitar shop. Like I love what the guitar shop was, what it could be, and what it can be in the future too, and like what in the fallibilities of what it became with like the mega big box structures and I'm not saying like online is evil. I think online is a wonderful tool, and we sell most of our guitars that way. But you have to do it in the way that it sort of emulates the old school feel of what a guitar shop could be. And because like, my goal is to get as many guitars into young people's hands as possible. Like sort of to keep the art of playing going on and to keep the art of the love of going into a shop and then finding your favorite. Like again, I spend most of my time on the internet and on the telephone, like helping people pick out or design guitars. But I want to be able to communicate that old hometown feel across the internet, across this country, and across the world.
Right.
So, and then it's our job is to be the advocate, especially now, for the end user, the player, with these manufacturers and what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, because no one else really we get in a lot of trouble for it. If you've watched our channel before, we sometimes step into landmines with with what we're honest about what the manufacturers do and what they don't do, and they get very upset with us sometimes. But I feel like that's part of our job, to be an honest go-between between like the people who create this product and the people who want to get it. And so you get the right guitar and you have fun getting it and you love it and you love it for the rest of your life. And if you want to sell it, we gave you something you can sell without losing your shirt. But mostly just so you have it forever. It's just, we just love the instrument. We're all guitar lovers here. We're kind of idiots. We're not good at anything else. I love history, movies, and guitars. And then my family sneaks in there somewhere. But no, it's just, and that's kind of all the guys that work here at Casino Guitars are sort of the same. We're kind of obsessed.
Yeah.
We don't, we all go out, we vacation together. We play a guitar. I play in Jonathan's band as a bass player. I wish Sean was playing, who's the manager of the shop. He's playing somewhere the other night. We're all there supporting him. And it's just, we're always doing it. We always are around music. And we want that feeling to matriculate to the rest of the country.
Yeah, we were just saying that off mic, Rob and I, that you guys are all in, just like us. We're all in, and that's, I mean, and I kind of feel like anything in life you do, whether it's guitar collecting or any business or making an egg, frying an egg, you got to be all in. Sean said something really great the other day about you when you guys were talking about guitar businesses, and that the owner of a guitar shop needs to be present and needs to be there. If he is looking at it as a way to print money, that's not going to happen.
It's the worst business.
That business will fail. And I was like, wow, I mean, how old is Sean? Sean's what, in his late 20s?
Yeah, he's in his mid-late 20s. I think he's 26, 27, somewhere in there.
But, I mean, for a 26-year-old, especially nowadays, to have that firm grasp on that and also acknowledge you in that way, I thought that was great.
Well, he's an old soul, and he's much smarter than his youth betrays. He's great to have, and like I sort of look at him as, that's also my job, is to look at him and find people like that to be the next generation, because I'm in my late 40s, and like so he's gotta be that, those guys gotta take over next, and like sort of like understand how, and like I brought him in, and he sort of sees how the relationships with the manufacturers are and how they change, and how it's not this big monolithic company. It's just people that work there. Most of the time the people are awesome, but sometimes they're horrible and they make horrible choices, and it's like, and we have to figure out how to navigate within that ecosystem to survive, be profitable, have a little bit of fun, and make sure our customers get the right guitars.
Yeah, I mean, so I think a lot of guitar manufacturers are a lot like rock stars in a sense, that sometimes they become so detached from their audience, that they don't know what their audience really wants. They're just going by statistics on a spreadsheet. Where with the exception of, certain guitar companies like Paul Reed Smith. Paul is tapped in. Every conversation I've ever had with that man, he is completely tapped in, even though he hates left-handed guitar players.
He does hate it. I feel like they all hate lefties right now. The lefty tax is ruthless. No, Pure like the good thing about PRS is it's the only company where the CEO is still the founder and is still a
Right.
guitar nut. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's problems that belie that too. Like, 'cause I know I've been there when it happens. When Paul's there at the factory, he's like, "I have an idea for this new thing. This is what I want to happen now." And everybody at the factory is like, "Holy shit! We have to get rid of
Right.
all this stuff we've just ordered to build this one thing, and now reorder everything else new for this new thing that he wants to do."
Right.
So it's great, but it's cool that he does that. I mean, all the guitar manufacturers are in a weird spot right now. It's because it was sort of flat last year for a lot of them. They didn't really go
Hmm.
up. Because American guitar companies are like growth, 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 or it's the end of the world, and so a lot of them are static and they're freaking out. I'm like, man, it's okay. Just hold the line.
Right.
Maybe build less guitars, build better guitars, so you don't have to. And you're gonna have to fire some people, but you'll
Oh
fire
yeah,
most people.
there's going to be layoffs.
You got to fire the VPs. I say it to them. I say it to them in person. I say you got to get some of these VPs have jobs that make a lot of money and they don't need to be there anymore. So, and then you're gonna have to fire some of the floor people too, which stinks. But we can do that easily in a small shop like us.
Right.
But like, it's like it's harder for like Gibson or Fender or PRS to steer that freighter,
Yeah. Well, I mean, Paul, has 700, I think,
something like that. I can't
something like that.
remember.
Yeah, something like
It's a lot
700
of
people.
people.
It's a lot of people, and many of them, I would have probably say about more than half, certainly have been with him for more than 10, 20 years.
Now I don't see
Um,
any PRSs behind you right now.
oh no, there's three right here.
Okay, good. I'm just checking.
There's three right here, Paul. I'm telling you, there's three. And
I think I have a wall of PRSs behind me right now. That just happened by
oh, I see.
chance.
I see what I
I didn't even,
see.
I didn't know
Yes,
where I was sitting. I was like,
yes.
I,
And you're going to think I'm crazy, but I think for me, and this is just me, I think the SE for me is a way better thing than me buying a core.
I think Paul Reed Smith made a mistake by launching the SE product to agree with you because I think it's so good.
It is so good.
Right.
It's hard for people to be like, I need to spend $5,000 to get to this point. I do think the core is a phenomenal guitar and it's obviously a way better instrument, but is it that much better? It is, but I'm the same way. Like the SE, like custom 2408, it's
Hmm.
pretty damn good.
Hmm. The Silver
Yes.
Sky
Yeah.
is outstanding.
Well, Fender had to redevelop the whole player too, just to compete with the Silver Sky, because the Silver Sky was kicking its butt. Because
Right.
the player one was kind of like, and then the player two is fantastic. The Silver Sky
Hmm.
still wins because it has a gig bag, but
Hmm.
that's
Right.
about it. I think otherwise it's right there.
Well, it's funny. I just got a player too, and why I needed another Strat, I can't really tell you,
You don't need
and
one.
I won't. But it doesn't hold up. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't. It's not the Silver Sky.
I see. Maybe you're just a PRS guy in that respect. But I still like the player two. I think in Silver Sky, I think it holds up.
Interesting. Okay.
That's me though. We've had
Yeah.
don't worry, there's been some QC issues with all the manufacturers the past year.
Hmm.
But we're pretty OC about it, OCD, and we take care of it and ship it right back if we don't like it.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of QC, so we know that the guitars now that are coming out of Indonesia, they're some of them are really really good. I mean, there's some right behind me here. I mean that GNL Legacy up there is comes out of Cortec and
So does
my
everything.
yeah, pretty much, and my Rev Star, my Yamaha Rev Star, my 2408, my Silver Sky, and I just picked up a Schecter MV6. Have you seen these things?
No, I haven't seen the new Schecters. No.
It's not a new Schecter. It's actually a couple of years old. Hang on a second. It's a
Yeah,
couple of years old. Ugh. And
it's cool.
yeah, and it's a Wenge neck. Am I pronouncing that right, Rob? Wenge?
Yeah. Wenge.
Wenge. And the pickups they're all silk single coil, right? But
Yes.
they're wired in parallel and series, and it's a modern instrument, but it does vintage.
But she could have bought that from Fender with Ron Thorne's Master Build California Special, and it only would have cost you
Oh
$12,000.
well, see, I got to
See,
get rid of that then.
I just want to give you an idea. That was something he made that was really nice, but it was a lot more expensive.
Right.
So
Wait, hold
but
up. Every time Rob pops up, I like seeing your face there. Have you seen that video where like the guy's at court and there's a cat face on him?
No.
no,
Go look it up. Like I keep hoping that's going to happen. Like his kid had like a filter on it, and
Right.
he's like, "Your Honor, I promise I'm not a cat."
Oh,
And the
that's
judge is like,
funny.
"I know. I want to see Rob just pop up as a cat or banana or something. Just make me happy because he has such
so
nice hair.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Beautiful.
getting back to the Cortec thing. So all those guitars that I just mentioned, they all came out of Cortec. And we were talking about QC. Do you think, and we have an episode in the can right now about this. Do you think, because we suspect that when a builder goes to Cortec and say, okay, we want you to build this, do you think that there's a like a menu of prices? You pay this much and you get this much QC. You pay this much, you get this
God.
much QC.
I've never thought of it like that in a weird way. I think certain manufacturers have certain power as far as like depending on how much they're going to buy. So they're gonna get that level of QC as far as like Fender gets a certain amount, PRS gets a certain amount. Like Gibson doesn't really do that as much, but they get a certain amount. It's tricky. Then you got guys like Harley Benton with Toman that have their own sort of. We did a whole video on this the other day too. It's like the whole idea is just like pretty much all these overseas guitars are pretty much built by the same factory,
Right.
and it's like, and it's just, but I'll go to this one, QC. Our main business is the Fender Custom Shop and like PRS and like soon to be, some other big manufacturers that start with a G and end with a Sun, but I won't say who, but they we have issues with guitars that cost $10,000. So and that's what's funny. We live in a golden age now. Like if you want a $500 and sub guitar, they're great most of the time. Every once in a while, you get a dud, but we have $10,000 to $15,000 guitars that come in with a ground wire was forgotten to be, or there was a cold solder joint that snapped in shipping. And if you were a customer and you got that, you'd be like, "Oh, the guitar is broken. It's ruined. It takes us 5 seconds to fix it." But it's like sometimes they forget to put stuff in too. Like we see it because if it just happens. So it's a weird time. It's a weird time.
Yeah. Do you see this leveling out, or do you see? I mean, 'cause I know you did an episode on talking about tariffs too,
Right.
and all that, and I think that's something that's going to be that's a ripple effect eventually.
That's
But
already hit. Like the tariffs have come into some of our major manufacturers have already raised the prices and it's crossed their
right,
.coms, and then we've had to raise them too, which is I think absurd because they have enough product for about 3 to 4 months of sales in the USA already.
right,
Right.
So but that's warehouse. But I get it. They're wanting to protect their profit, but I
yeah,
don't know.
get it while you can, kind of.
But I also look at they were getting it during COVID when the get was good.
Boy,
So
did
man,
they!
you guys should like put a little money in your pocket right there and just prepared for the slowdown because it always has. It goes bam, then whoop, then it steadies out. You just gotta.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
Right.
mean, wasn't it Gibson, Fender, and Martin reported that they had more sales during the lockdown than they ever did in the history of their companies.
It was insane. I mean, look at Sweetwater sold 1,000 guitars a day.
Wow.
A day. They were packing and shipping 1,000 instruments daily, during the height of COVID. And that's like for a 6-month run. The numbers are astronomical, and it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. Well, who was that amp company, Rob, that you talked about?
Which one?
The one that was going to raise their price.
Oh, it was it is Morgan.
Oh, Morgan.
Yeah, he was the one that put up that. Did you see that, Baxter? He put up a thing explaining why his amps are now going up. They were regularly, I think they were $1,999. Now he said they're going to be $3,100 because.
Holy cow!
Yeah, he said his total, increase that he has to put in is $300 with these tariffs. And then he broke down all the math on why it now raises it $1,100 to the end user if you buy one of his amps, which
Gee
I don't
whiz.
understand. To me, if he says that it's going to cost him $300 more to build, then you would think that he would just raise up $300 more instead of raising it $1,100 more. But he had a long arc of an explanation on why.
Well, I like, well, as like, I've seen the manufacturer. Let's say it is $300 more to cost.
Mhm.
He's got to factor in his profit on that too. So that's a net loss. So he's going to build in like another. Should build in at least 20% on top of that to
Right.
make him But yeah, that's to build in triple plus. That's a little extreme.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's what his 20-watt head is. $2,000 will now be $3,100.
I mean, I do get a lot of the parts they're getting. The Ukraine-Russian war like affected a lot of amp and pedal makers, like more so. The tariff stuff's affecting chip makers, obviously with the Taiwan and whatnot, and the Chinese issues. But I know like car amplification in North Carolina, about 45 minutes from us, like his cost of parts have gone up dramatically too.
Right.
He's trying to maintain his price structure because they're already expensive amps. They're already
Yeah.
$3,000+ amps.
Yeah.
But no, it's tricky. I'm hoping the companies, once the tariff thing is over, will readjust back down.
I hope so. It seems like when these things happen and they're able to get up, when everything goes down, they still like to stay up.
It used to be that way, and I would agree with that. Like I've seen like Fender in particular lately has had it's been like this over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Because it's like they've raised up, then they go down, and then don't get me wrong, I can go on a rampage about how Fender will then. I was at a bar with one of my friends the other night. That's a great customer here, and every time he comes to the shop, he gets a text from Fender, like here's a sale, 10% off. But then he's even out with me, he gets a text from Fender. Somehow Fender knows they geo target you, like the guitar shops will geo target you when you go into a shop. The manufacturers know you're there if you have an app, and they'll send you offers. And
Right.
so I don't. That's a whole other thing. I get so frustrated with that. I was like, stop trying to compete with your partners. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to be extremely frustrating when you have the factory trying to outsell its dealer. So,
But at my shop.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
slap in the face.
You can't get any more Big Brother than that. I mean, that's
No, I hats off to them for like having the tech savviness to do it, but it's a little bit weird. And I make sure I'm very pointed about like letting them know I don't appreciate it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Best I can do.
Yeah, it's and it's funny because this whole market, once again talking about those ripple effects, you're going to see a change in the used market, and thereby you'll see a change in the vintage market, which are two different things. We were just talking off mic that there was a time when somebody was selling a refin. What was this percentage, Rob?
Refins used to be 50%, right off the bat. That's what you were shaving off if it was a refinished guitar. But
Not
now,
anymore.
yeah, they hold their value now. A refin doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
you're looking at, I think you had said 80% of it is what you're getting out of it, of what it was. Instead of
It's
it dropping it down
nuts.
to 50, you're only losing like 20% if everything else is solid on the guitar.
Mhm.
All original pots, all original electronics. I don't know. Refret, I don't know what your feelings are on if it's refretted, how much that hurts the value of it. But
I feel like we're past. I think refrets don't really hurt the value much at all
yeah,
anymore. On Fenders in particular, maybe
yeah,
with the Gibson if it's a lousy refret job and they messed up
Mhm.
the
the
nibs.
edging.
Yeah.
But I think I'm looking at a refin over here on my right side. It says Les Paul Special 1959. It's a blue refin, non-original pickups, non-original paint, non-original electronics, and it's still like over $6,000,
Right.
which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just what they are now. I remember you could pick up those things for $800 back in the day.
Right. Well, yeah, on your website right now, you've got a 59 Jazzmaster that's a refin.
Yeah,
And it's almost $9,000.
Yeah, what was it like $79.99 or I can't remember what it is.
8 something.
$84.99. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
too
and
high.
it's spectacular. Whoever did the refin really did a great job.
No, because it was matched with the colors from that period and with like the car paints as well. So it's a great refin, but it's like it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's a lot of. But
Well,
yeah,
I was just at Austin Vintage Guitars, and I saw Steve over there, and he said, "Oh, you got to check out this 62 Strat, black, white guard. Everything's original. It's just a refin." And he was asking $17,000.
Ooh, gosh. I mean, what's the thing too is like some. I mean, maybe that's reasonable now, but some folks are they're using reverb as the analytic that they think is accurate as far as like this is
Yeah.
what they're asking, this is what it's worth. You have to go look at
Mhm.
what they're selling for. You have to go look off that channel. I had a gentleman in the other day, like he had a 1960 Strat, great, mint condition, but he was like, "How much do you think this is worth?" Baxter, I'm like, "This is $30,000 to $35,000." Like
Mhm.
you can sell. He's like, "I'm thinking I could ask 100,000." I'm like, I don't know where you get that number, sir. I just
Yeah.
$100,000 for a 1960 Strat. I'm like, that's neat. You can ask whatever you want. You can ask $1 million for it. You're just not going to sell it.
Right.
Um, so I know you're a big fan of Castadosa, as am I,
Yes.
and of Carlos and his work. I mean, I was an avid follower of his Instagram when he was still with the Fender Custom Shop, and what he was doing with the what was the name of that one guitar? It was an offset. Was it the Marauder? Not the
It was the
Marauder.
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 Yeah.
Man, oh man, I remember I took pictures of it and put it up as my wallpaper on my computer for a while, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Just to stare at it. And I sent several emails to Fender saying, "Please, please, why won't you bring this in and put this
Production.
out as a production model? People will be all over that."
They yeah, it's the cycle of how they bring things in is pretty slow sometimes. They almost have like a 5 year plan, I think, with some of these majors, and like this is what's coming out, so we can't get this into cycle until I'm like,
Right.
but I think I agree. I think it's a cool guitar. I like those weird ones. Like, and you have sort of some of the other like younger master builders have taken the mantle of doing
Yeah.
the weird stuff, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah. Like that guy now who's getting a lot of heat.
Levi Perry.
Levi Perry. Holy crapola. That
I probably have 30 guitars on order with him,
really.
at any given point because
Right.
he's just so good
Yeah.
and so talented. And he's an artist and a builder, and he's a little
Yeah.
bit weird. So he makes
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
stuff that makes no sense
Well,
sometimes.
what was it? A Toronado that he did for the NAMM show
Yeah.
with the fuzz in it. I mean, holy crap! That was another one. Why are we not seeing this as a production model? Not necessarily with the fuzz in it, but just that design. You
Well,
know?
I would love to see like, I don't think they can do it, but like the Jack White triple caster is a great guitar.
Yeah.
I would love to see that as a Squire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the
Like
same thing.
a classic vibe Squire. It's got to be like $700 probably, but
Yeah.
classic vibe Squires are some of my favorite guitars
Same here.
all of. I
Yeah.
love them. I sell very expensive guitars all day, but I love those and I love classic vibes.
Yeah. It's funny about those. I have a classic vibe jazz master, and I don't like the new Squire necks. I like the ones in the mid '90s and the early 2000s Squire necks, and I have a few of those lying around. I love them. But I'll like with the classic vibe. I went ahead and I was like, okay, I'm not loving this neck, so I just went and got myself a Mexican neck and threw that on there, and it's like a whole nother thing. It's
You got your
fantastic.
thing.
Yeah,
No, it's like, I mean, yeah, because I love what, guys like Andertons have done with some of their Esquire runs
yeah,
that they do. And they're such a great shop. I think the captain or Lee, whoever we want to call him, he's a wonder. We hung out a bunch at NAM and
yeah.
we hit it off really. But like, he's fantastic, class act. Love what he does with his business.
I agree. Yeah, he's another one that's all in.
Yeah.
He's
Like
all in.
we'll have Zoom calls and we'll talk and just have a good time some.
Yeah.
And we got some business ideas we're working on together that will come into fruition soon this year. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, your work with the custom shop, Fender Custom Shop, is herald. I mean, the stuff that you bring in is just mind-blowingly beautiful. Now, how does that work? Is it a situation where you're saying, "Hey, I'm envisioning this," and
it's
then you present it to the builder?
kind of like, so if it's a team build, like, the what we do there is like they have special runs that sometimes are great hits and we'll take some of those, but we really like to sit down and design them ourselves
Yeah,
and have a lot of fun with them, sort of see what would we want to play. What would we want to play if we were playing this type of show? What would then we kind of envision that idea, and then it's like a kid in a candy store. but and then that's for like the shop stock, what we put here. And then when we want to, but most of what we do is honestly building guitars for customers that call and want to have their own one-off guitar. And it's an hours long process of phone calls and emails back and forth, and then eventually getting you a guitar. So then
Mhm.
master build's a whole different deal.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. So how long does it take for a team build now to arrive?
I mean,
Depending.
during COVID, it was reaching points of close to 2 years.
Wow.
It was like 12 months to 24 months, not really knowing. Now they've gotten it down to around 12 months at the sort of base level, but we're as a showcase dealer, we have sort of expedited treatment. So we can sort of allocate if somebody needs a guitar sooner, because none of us need a guitar sooner, but we act like we do. Um,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
but we can get you some. We've gotten some in 6 months, some in
Oh,
5 months or
wow.
four. But that's if we're like, hey, we really need this guitar. Can
Right.
you like do this for us faster and like maybe
Right.
move some around? And because we have sort of like we have a certain amount of build slots we get per month that are sort of allotted to us.
Hmm.
Like that's sort of it's a nice sort of balancing act so we can have enough coming in and enough going out.
And what about a master build?
That's anywhere from a year to up to 10 years.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So it's like you can get some. Maybe I have cell phones for all of my friends that are master builders, and we will be in touch. Like, hey, can you jump the ship on this one a little bit? Go a little, help me out, and they're awesome about it. And I don't ever abuse that. It's only if it's really necessary.
Right.
But some of the guys like Dale Wilson and Vincent Van Treat, who's no longer there, those guys had a wait list of almost a decade.
I didn't know Vince left.
Yeah, Vince left. Gosh, he left a while ago. He had to take care of some family stuff
Oh, wow.
back in the Netherlands. So he's not. There's always hopes that he'll come back.
Yeah, I hope so. He's a great bass player.
He's phenomenal. He plays for like that weird looking white dude that he is. Like to
Yeah.
sit in the pocket like he does. I mean, that's a weird look. He's as white as it gets.
Yeah.
Like he's just
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
He's like a pale Pino Palladino.
Yes,
Right.
the white Marcus Miller. It's
Yeah,
he's
I know Marcus.
no, and he's such a kind soul. And Dale Wilson's amazing. Like the guy, they're all like the ones that we really do a lot with. I really like them as people too, and
Yeah.
that's part of like. There's a lot of great master builders, but we only work with a few because I like them more and I like their craft. I like how they work with the customer.
Right.
So we're really picky. Like Todd Kraus just did like a solid one for us the other day, which was there's like a small little thing that the customer wanted. So he's like, send me the guitar back now. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'll rebuild the body. I'm like, that's
Wow.
awesome.
Wow.
Because like, and that's, and you don't really get that. Even if it was like a team build, you wouldn't get that. It's like, well,
Right.
tough luck.
Right.
I
Right.
guess you get to sell it on reverb or but like, Todd's name is on it. So he's like, no, I want it to be perfect
Hmm.
for this dude. So like, send it back.
Yeah.
Like, and like they pay for the shipping, boom, 2-day air, bam.
Uh-huh.
He'll work on it. It'll be another month or 3, but I'd rather it be perfect.
Yeah. Todd's great. I follow him as well, and I'm just a
Have you seen him
marvel
in
of his stuff.
person? He is so big.
Is he?
He's like his hands are like the size of basketballs. I don't know how he works on guitars. It's like,
Especially getting into a cavity.
dude, it's he's like Andre the Giant. He's lost a ton of weight in the past like 10 years, but oh my God, his hands are still like these monsters, and it's horrifying. It's like this. Like, how are you, Todd? Nice to see you. Imagine his baby when he felt his baby the first time. Like this. Hello, baby.
Sending it like this.
Yeah, it's insane.
Another one is Paul Waller over
Waller.
there. He's another one, and he was the one that was behind that cardboard sessions, the cardboard Strat,
Yeah.
the cardboard Telly, the cardboard P bass. We had those folks
Paul's
on the
nuts.
show. That's the craziest thing. Did you ever get to try one of those?
I didn't get to play the cardboard one, but I hung out with Paul when we were out at Fender last year some, and then we saw him at NAMM again. He's like the dude's dude of the Fender custom shop, I feel like.
Right.
He just like he's like in shape. He's like, yeah, I'm just building this guitar and I'm gonna work out, man. I'm the man. And he's awesome. He's just you want to hang out and have a beer with Paul. You want to go shopping with Levi Perry. He's got the good fashion. You want to have a beer with Paul. You want to fly in a helicopter with Dennis Skaluska. You want to go palm babies' heads with Todd Kraus. Yuri Shishkov, I think.
Yeah, when you're
he's
hanging
like
out
a
with
Russian
Levi,
spy. Gotta love him.
when you're hanging out with Levi, you got to wear a trucker hat.
Oh yeah. I was just dunking on that the other day with the guys in the shop. That dude, you say he's coming. He's such a nice dude too. But I will say this about Levi. When we were at the Fender Custom Shop, it was last year, and I saw him buffing a neck out. I was like, "Why are you doing that?" He's like, "I like to do every bit of it myself."
Mm,
Like because that's normally something they would have one of the other apprentices like do, like just to help buff it after they've shaped it. And like he does everything,
wow.
like from fretting to, because there's one guy that frets at the Fender Custom Shop for the all the team stuff. And they do it by an old hand press, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. But he does everything by himself, which I was really impressed.
Yeah. I know you guys have played the Indonesian standard,
Hmm.
and Rob and I were talking about this the other day, and I was saying to myself, now I know which factory it's coming from. It's coming from Cortec. So, so in my mindset, how and I know everybody's really like got themselves in a twist over the fact that it's coming from Indonesia and it says Fender, and yes, you're spending a little extra for the decal, but how does that really differ all that much? I remember when we had NAFTA and then uh, Fender was ramping up Ensenada, and the guitars that
1986
came.
and into the 90s. Yep.
Yeah, and those guitars. I mean, that one there with the two humbuckers right there.
Yeah. No,
That's
no.
one from that era, and that's Hiram. I call that Hiram. And but it's amazing. The guitar is amazing.
It's a tricky thing because like I get why people are upset.
Me too. I get it.
It's a weird thing. I'm gonna agree with you on lots of points there too. The guitar looks great, it feels great. The pickups are, you either like them or you hate them. I think too.
Mhm.
I've found that like some people play them and they love it. Some people play them, they're like these just aren't musical in the way I want them to be.
Well, I feel that way about the Player Twos.
I it's tricky 'cause I feel like the Player Two pickups I'm okay with. And so
Yeah.
you like the Silver Sky pickups, whereas I'm not huge on the Silver Sky SE pickups.
Oh, interesting.
It's like I
Okay.
like the Player Two pickups better, but that's again, it's all in the ear of the beholder. I'm not saying that Silver Sky's bad. It just doesn't. It's a little bit more chimier than I like. Whereas I feel like the Silver Sky core has a little bit more meat to the pickup.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just, and they don't sound like Strats to me at all. They sound like something entirely different.
They do. They're a different animal.
Whereas the Silver Sky SE is kind of Strat-like in my mind, and
Okay.
but that's just me. And I've had people play the standard and be like, "Man, this is the greatest thing ever." Cool. Then you got to test it with classic vibe too, and it's like, man, that's the greatest thing ever too.
Yeah. I mean, there you
Right.
go. Yeah. So I
But
mean,
do you
yeah.
care if it says Squire? Like I think the Player Two Indonesian is for like the 13-year-old kid or the dude that really has to have it say Fender.
Hmm.
As like a late 40s-year-old dude, like I
Hmm.
don't care as much anymore. I'm
Hmm.
playing a classic vibe Squire bass with
Hmm.
Jonathan right now because I think it sounds awesome.
Hmm.
It kind of sounds like it's the old 50s one with the single pickup, the T style
Yeah.
bass, and it's got
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah, I love it. It's got that sort of
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
overdriven sound. Yeah, you got one. Let's see it.
Well, that's it. No. So I've got this old Squire. Whoops. Hang on.
Don't break your house.
No, I just pulled my headphones out, and because I
We
did that,
gently-
I had one of those classic Vibe 50s, T-style Squires. It was fantastic.
They're awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
for like the money they are, it's.
Yeah.
And I sell custom shops all day. I want to get a custom shop base, but I'm waiting. I have to rationalize, is it that much better for me too? Because bass is different than guitar, and it's certainly they all sort of
I,
boom, boom, boom.
actually a bass player first before guitar. But I'm a gigging, hired
There
bass
you go.
player. So, and I've gigged Squires, and I've gigged, for a long time. My number one was a Fodera, and
There you go.
now my number one's like a custom built Serene, and it's like, but I could do the gig with the Squire just fine. And
oh hell yeah,
they're
Well, I just whatever I'm gonna have more fun with, and it has to sound good, obviously. But like I don't have to worry about beating the crap out of it either. But
right.
I want a Castadosa bass, but even with my special relationship with them, they're still really expensive.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like,
But like this Squire, I picked up this Squire for $80
Jesus,
at $80 at the Dallas Guitar Festival.
that's awesome.
It was just sitting there, and I don't know, for some reason it just jumped out at me and said, "Take me home."
I mean, that's a fancy meal out. or
Yeah.
a guitar. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, actually,
Amazing.
and I didn't. The guy didn't take cash. So my buddy that was with me said, "I got the cash." I said, "Great, I'll take you to Avila's tonight up in Dallas, and we'll have Mexican food." And we went crazy,
That's awesome.
and that's how I paid for it over
A night
Mexican.
out.
Yeah,
See,
night out.
that's even better.
Yeah. So, you know, and it sounds great. Yes, ceramic pickups, but you know what? There is a thing about ceramic pickups.
Well, even in the custom shop, like people, it's always about hand wound, or do you want Josefina, or do you want Abby? If you can find those, and like they sound better and great, but like sometimes for a certain sound, I say don't get hand wound. If you want that 63, 64 glassy sound, get it
Mhm.
non hand wound. Get it to where you can get that middle picture where it has that little bit of that glass and quack to it, and it's a
Mhm.
different sound.
Mhm.
So it depends what you're going for. Most of our ears want that round and warmth of a hand wound now, like
Mhm.
with the proper metals, but you don't have to always do it.
I love the custom shops Fat 50s.
That's one of the best pickups they make, hands down.
Oh my lord! And that's 60. Is it a 69? Oh no, they have a Fat 60. That's what they have, right?
Well, this the 69 in the neck, I love. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't like it in the bridge, so I do like 69 in the neck. I'll do like a weird mid, like fat 64 in the middle, and maybe a 58 or 59 in the bridge. I combine different pickups a lot with my customers and myself.
Yeah.
Robin Trower does the same. Robin Trower does a 69 in the neck, and then a couple other mismatches in the bridge and the middle. But he swears by that 69 neck.
What gives you that sort of all of us guitar players that grew up at a certain time, Jimi Hendrix's "The Wind Cries Mary" is the
Right.
sound,
Yeah.
and so it has that for that neck stuff. You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
you know. But the 69 on the bridge is like ice picky.
Yes, absolutely. And I can't take that. That's too much for me. But I like it. I like it a little warmer. But so how many guitars do you have in your collection, your personal collection? Do you know?
I don't think I have that many. I have a lot of amps too. I mean, I have like
Yeah, you are an amp guy.
I don't know the amp count right now. There's a room filled with amps. There's a room full of guitars too, but I mean it's probably less right now than like 30
Oh, okay.
guitars somewhere in there. Like it's I a lot of the guys laugh like, oh, like so they'll have more than me like by far, and I'm like, well, I kind of envision myself as Hugh Hefner. Why would I get married if I can play any one of those ways that I want anytime?
Right.
So it's got to be. I did just buy like another one like last week or something, but it's one I've sort of always sort of lusted after. And I was talking to the guys in Ireland, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll make you one of these. It's special." And I was like, "All right, let me get one of those." And so I bought another Loudon electric guitar, so it's a problem.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, the guy that we're talking to, this other guy, Rob here,
Yeah,
he's got a little bit more than 30.
yeah. I had a feeling it's
Oh, I gave off that vibe that you had a feeling.
How many you got there, Rob?
Well, remember, I'm a bass player, so 50 of them are basses.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Then the other 50 are guitars. But
Nobody needs 50 basses. They all sound the same.
Oh my God, you're not a bass player, sir.
I'm just kidding. No, the one bass that got away is I had a good like some of the old Gibson EB basses. I love those.
Yeah, I got a
And, like,
67 EB3.
Oh yeah, there's the EB3s are the ones, and like they have a sound. Like if you get an original Hoffer, it's really cool. But I'm more of a Fender bass player.
Yeah. I mean, I love a good. I tell everybody all the time. I have Federa, Serena, this, that, Ken Smith. I'm like, but I could rule the world with just a good jazz bass.
Good jazz bass, or for rock and roll, a good P bass, and you got it.
Yeah, I started out as a bass player years 1975 but P bass is my thing.
No, I like the P bass pickups with like a smaller neck, like a J bass neck.
Yeah, more tapered. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just so I can coming from the guitar world, I like to have it more comfy.
Yeah.
And now, see, when I play guitar, I like the big, fat 58 like Gibson neck. So I like.
No, I do too.
Meaty neck. So, but I guess that's from being a bass player.
Probably.
Yeah, because Mark's always like, "How can you play that? It's got such a thick neck." And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I've played 5 and 6 string basses, and they're big necks. So
God forbid, it's too much for me. I can't even. My brain can't even comprehend a 5 string.
I feel the same way. I
prefer 4, but
he's always trying to talk me into getting a 5 string bass, and I'm like, I don't even know what note is that.
It would just make me mad. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I would immediately be going, playing in the wrong key. I would definitely be playing in the wrong key.
What it is So I prefer a 4. You got to play a 5 or sometimes a 6 because gospel people won't hire you unless you show up with a 5. You show up with a 4 and they laugh at you. And they're
Wait, do
like,
you play
"Oh,
gospel music?
I'll play anything you pay me to play."
That's funny. I like that.
So
I like gospel. I think gospel's cool. I was like, that's something you don't hear from
yeah,
like white dudes in New Jersey very often.
yeah,
So
no, no. But I
yeah.
mean, I play primarily like rock and jazz and blues and R&B. But if you want to get a gospel gig, they will laugh at you. Like the piano player in my band is a heavy duty church playing, gospel guy, and he'd be like, "We'll laugh you out." He's like, "You show up with a 4 string, and we're going to be go learn the rest of the bass. What are you doing here?"
Oh, that's too bad. That's
The
mean.
the upside is with us having this many instruments. Rob and I had started a music library, so we've been curating and curating and curating,
Right.
and we just got placed somewhere, which was nice because we're brand new to this. And I used
Oh, right on.
I used to work in a music library years ago in the early and mid 2000s, and that's how I did all that stuff with MTV. But
That's cool.
but it's fun. It's and like me, I'm at a point now. I'm older than all y'all, probably put together, and
Uh-huh.
and and I don't want to play live anymore. I'm not interested.
I get it.
I don't want to schlep the gear around. I'm not interested. I'm just not. I just don't want to do it. And but I love making music in the studio. I love watching it take shape, and then the mix. I mean, yesterday we had a really happy accident. He gave me two different bass parts for this one track. I threw the two bass parts together, and I made a completely different song.
Nice.
And it was just like, look at this. This is amazing how this birthed something else entirely. But
I remember when that was the new technology, like the fact that we can do this so easily now.
Right.
But because this was back in like the late '90s and early 2000s. It was like, no, forget about it. You got to go to the studio, and now it's like you can just send it to your buddy across the country and make music.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a touring musician in the '80s in a hair band, everything I wrote on a Fostex X15.
Right.
Everything. And it was just, cassettes that I could bring to the band and say, here's your part, here's your part, here's your part.
That's so funny. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Well, that's me. Baxter and I are probably close in the same age. And you remember if you had a Tascam or whatever, and
the Tascam 4-track.
Yeah, and you were major then. Your whole band would be like, "Oh my God, you're the guy with the thing. We can do this now." And it's terrible. But
well, Sean, who works with we've talked about, he collects those now, like Tascam 4 and 8 tracks, and that's how he makes his music.
Really?
So, and he records his guitars through it because you can drive the preamps and get this cool distorted.
Like McGee.
Yeah, exactly. He's been doing it since this. I mean, probably before McGee and the song. But McGee's great. I love McGee.
Me too.
But I love that Sean's into that stuff. I gave all my stuff away too. I wish I would have kept it to give to him. I just gave all that shit away. I was like, this is useless tape players. Just.
I still have my X15. Maybe I'll send it over to him.
Yeah, send it. We'll take your X15. He'll take anything. He loves it. And
I think mine is still at my parents' house.
I think that look on Reverb, they're probably worth money now.
I bet you.
I think people are buying these things for like decent money, which is hilarious.
Yeah. So speaking of McGee, do you hear the Prince in there? Do you hear Prince in there?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
I think what he's doing is fantastic.
That's
the new type of guitar hero that we need. It's not shredders like Eddie Van Halen, because that's a once in a million.
Yeah.
But McGee's he's creating songs that lives in the Billie Eilish fandom, and it's just where it can be pop consumed as well.
Yes,
but he's a guitar player.
I really enjoy him, and I've been really enjoying a Japanese guitarist by the name of Ray. She's phenomenal.
I know you're talking about. Yep.
She's like Lady Gaga meets Corey Wong.
That's a horrifying mix. That's gives you nightmares, but yes. God. Corey Wong with breast is what I'm imagining right now too. It's
he's
strange.
been hiding it all along. So you guys are in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
And folks, I want to remind you again, casinoguitars.com, bitchin' website. I just got to say, I really like your website.
Thank you.
And you're about a almost 4 hour ride to Asheville.
Yes. Yeah, we're right about 4 hours.
Yeah. So I just saw your report from the Asheville Guitar Show, and it was great. Do you ever get to the Dallas show?
We have not gone to the Dallas show yet. It's a little bit of that's a big poke for us.
Yeah.
We've thought about going out there. I just don't really know if I want to set up a booth or anything out there. It's so far, and we'd have to rent a U-Haul and do the whole thing. It's maybe worthwhile for us, but it was tough. There wasn't tons of great deals at the Asheville Guitar Show for us to like buy for the shop, which is what we were hoping to find.
Right.
But everybody was asking top dollar, not really willing to negotiate too much.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, all right, we sold a few things, traded a few things, but we haven't been to the Dallas Guitar Show yet. But the guy Jimmy who runs it had his booth next to ours, and we've known him for years.
Yeah, Jimmy Wallace. Yeah,
Jimmy's great.
Yeah, he's a hoot.
I like the whole gang.
You should definitely go out there, even if you don't go as the shop to set up a booth. Because I went there not last year, but the year before with Mark, and that was a trek from New Jersey. I don't fly, so that was I drove.
Oh Jesus! You don't fly?
No, I don't. No,
straight cats. That's how I want. Everyone wants to die in their sleep. I want to die like going 400 miles per hour, fire into it, like fighting terrorists. Like bam, let's go. Like I'm gonna go down and saving everybody else. We're getting in parachutes. We're gonna go that way. As an 8-year-old man.
I so badly want to go to Tokyo. Obviously just for Tokyo, but I also want to visit the flagship store, the Fender flagship.
We're scheming on a possibility of doing that later this year, maybe.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff for business we might go over there for, but in Japan. But that's something we want to see too. We've been invited by the head of Fender Asia's invited us out there to come.
Oh, nice.
To do a video.
Nice.
So we're just trying to figure out if we can get it sorted out.
That would be wonderful. I mean, I've seen a lot of video of the flagship store. I want to go, and not only that, but guitar in Japan anyway. In general, like I'm always watching the Fernandez market, the vintage Fernandez market. I'm always looking at the Greco market, But just in general, the made in Japan Fenders are pretty astounding.
I was just on the phone with my rep for Fender. I was like, I need some of these FSRs, the Japanese Fenders. I want some. He's like, I can't get any right now. I'm like, just figure it out. That's what I want. Those are the best things. They're the coolest.
Those paint jobs are ridiculous. And
even the Final Fantasy stuff, whatever they make is just cool. Like the Wave guitar, all of them are awesome.
Yeah. A lot of matching headstocks.
Yes.
They're really into that scene.
And they make some high gain pickups, which doesn't always suit for what I like, but that's, if I fill the shop with only what I like, that wouldn't work. But I love the aesthetic. But the pickups aren't my jam. But God, the guitars are cool.
Yeah, they are cool.
They're cool, and they always find homes, and they always find. We get to meet cool people that buy them. I love meeting new people because some of my best friends have come from guys I met on the freaking YouTube channel or as customers. It's really weird. Like we vacation together with some of them. It's stupid.
Well, that's how we met.
It's funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you guys are a couple, and it's adorable.
Now we're a couple.
He sounds like our wives.
Yeah, our wives
always
say, "Oh, you're on the phone with your boyfriend." Oh, okay.
That's sweet.
We had our wives on the show to talk about our disease, and it was hysterical.
I bet I don't have to look that show up. Then that sounds like a fun one.
I'll send you a link.
Send me that when we get off because that's hilarious. I don't let the wives get involved with this at all if possible because it's dangerous. We have a whole system like we create fake receipts for the wives and real receipts for the customer. So when they die, they can sell them for the real value, but the women have no idea. Oh, you spent $500, not $5,000.
Right.
They don't know.
That's great.
It's like I'm not kidding.
But we were saying in regards to the Asheville show, we were saying off mic at one point that we may want to do that show and then come visit y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all, there you go. I got Southern accent coming.
Oh yeah, I'm in Austin a long time now.
There you go.
We say all y'all.
What were you saying, Rob?
Have you ever done the Philadelphia show?
I feel like I'd been there before when I was younger, but I haven't done it as a shop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, that's a great show. They're good shows. Like sometimes I'm just guitared out too, as far as like I'm always going either at manufacturers or at the showrooms here, and we have a building next door. We do all the YouTube production, and sometimes we're like on the weekends, like I don't know if I can go to a show right now because we're getting ready to go to one. I'm going to Merle Fest in a couple weeks, and in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. That's where we sell Taylor guitars at a bluegrass festival, which is funny, but we sell a lot of guitars there. And Bonnie Raitt's playing. We got Stephen Wilson Jr. is the one I'm excited to see play. I think
Yeah.
he's playing the show, and I can't wait.
Yeah. He's astounding.
I love it because he fits all of those old white dudes too, like connect to some of his songs. Yeah, I remember 1994. I love this. Like, I love what he does with his nylon string guitar that's all beat to hell. And
Yeah.
I love his voice. I like his style. And I met his wife. She's amazing. She's the singer for Sixpence None the Richer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's performed here in Southern Pines, and she's beautiful, wonderful, and super talented. And yeah, I'm thrilled for his success at this stage of his life too.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Who thinks a 50-something-year-old dude's going to get famous? It's like it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, yeah. I'm encouraged by what I see. Like what we were talking about, Ray and McGee, and then people like him, and people like Billy Strings and Chris Stapleton. I get really encouraged when I see that type of thing. That there's a lot more, even though things are digitized more and more, that there are more guitar players being included in the process of this digitization. I think John Mayer has found a way to bridge that world.
Well, we forget because we've been in this for a while, but John Mayer is old too.
Yeah,
like he's not like the young kids still like him, but like the young non-guitar players don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And the same, so it's funny. So I'm very encouraged too by the new music coming out, not just what you mentioned. There's so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's exciting because kids want a tactile relationship with their music. They want vinyl again. They want tapes. They want to play. They want to hear like punk. The Idols are huge all of a sudden, and that band shouldn't be popular from today's pop standards, but they're awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. My daughter is going to be 24.
Good Lord.
She's a musician and great songwriter. And, she came to me when she was in her early teens saying, "Hey, you got to hear this band, 5 Seconds of Summer." And I was like, "Okay, let me hear it." I was like, "Okay, hang on a second. Let me play you this." Because they were literally doing Ramones songs at that time. And they were
I was like, which one did you play to show what they were copying? Because they were really cute.
Blink 182, Sum 41, all of that. And, but, I love the fact that she's got this really eclectic mindset about music. She told me the other day, she says, "I wish we could kill genres and just have no more genres." She says, because it's just it creates so much confusion, because like now she's listening to artists that are considered indie by iTunes Music or Spotify, and they're really country musicians.
Right.
Or Americana, if you will.
The industry, even though we've exploded into the streaming services and like the record industry was destroyed, they still figured out how to create the same thing of sort of funneling what music we're supposed to listen to.
Yeah.
It's not the radio anymore. It's through the streaming services and how the artists get paid. There's still very much the payola in the universe too. And it's true, but at least young people and old people like us can still find new music if we're willing to search.
Yeah.
Then your algorithm starts to develop a flavor for it, fortunately, on Apple Music or on Spotify, whatever you use. But it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, without a doubt. With this show, it's always been, I've been doing this show for 13 years. And with this show, it's, I probably listen to 100 hours worth of music every week, new music.
Jeez Louise.
Because that's my job. I have to
awesome.
Find it all. And then when I find something that really lights me up, I send it to him. And, sometimes he'll like it and sometimes he'll say, "What the fuck is this?" But, I think that's, I'm 63, and I think that's what's keeping me vital.
It keeps you in it.
That sound, getting washed. Like when I heard McGee, I was like, "Oh, there's still hope for us."
It does. It has that sort of that 80s Purple Rain type of vibe.
Yeah.
Check out check out have you heard the artist Zach Person yet?
Zach Person.
Yeah, look
Is it?
him up. He just
Okay.
finished a run with Blackberry Smoke opening for them.
Oh, okay.
He's done stuff he's opened on the festivals with the Foo Fighters and
Ah,
Stone,
cool.
and Anderson Paak, I think. And he's done some. He's a young guy he was out of Austin, but he's in Atlanta, Georgia now with it's a two-piece band, and
Okay.
he just did a whole run with Rhett Shull too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he just rode with Rhett for like 4 or 5 dates. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
he's a young artist that I've known since he was a child, and it's fun to watch his. He was a top runner on American Idol one year when he was like a teenager,
Yeah.
and just watching his sort of trajectory go and pivot, and now he's like playing with Tyler Bryant and other guys like that, and just it's cool.
Tyler's great. I got to see Tyler. First time I saw Tyler was opening for Jeff Beck, because they share managers, or did, and it was just an acoustic show.
Whoa.
And I mean, that's got to be really daunting, right? Opening up for Jeff Beck with just an acoustic guitar.
Just opening for Jeff Beck, period, would be
In
daunting.
general, right? Yeah.
I don't want to play guitar on the same stage as Jeff Beck. I like
Yeah.
to play rhythm. Just don't let me solo with you. Let me just sit backstage.
I'll play in the next room.
Yeah.
But Jeff would bring him up every night for the encore, and they would do Freeway Jam.
Ooh,
Could you imagine?
no.
But he held his own.
Yeah, Tyler's a phenomenal guitar player.
He really is.
Well, the only trap for all these phenomenal guitar players, they got to find a way to translate that with their songs to a larger audience. Like I pray for those dudes, like so they can get like a bigger audience, because they're so good, and he's such a great singer too. And I want all those guys just to be able to connect and get something out there where like non-guitar players listen to it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Daniel Donato's figured that out a bit with the jam scene.
Yeah.
He sort of entered that. Marcus King's figured it out in a large scale. Because
Wow.
he's a triple threat. He's as good a singer as he's a guitar player.
Right.
That's what blows my mind. I mean, I had him on the show before the first record came out. It was right after that jam that he did is he in North Carolina too?
He's in Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
That's where he's based out of.
He was at some TV studio, and it's on YouTube. It's like 2 hours long. It's a live in the studio live show, no audience, of before the first record come out with the original band. And I was just like, what in the world is this? Who is this person that sings
Freak
like
show.
this? Like the first time I heard Johnny Lang too, I felt like that. I was like, who is this 80-year-old?
No, he's unbelievable, and he's such a nice kid too. Like I got to meet. He came to the shop years back too, and he was such a nice kid. He tried to buy one of my 355s, my personal one. I think I was like, I can't sell it to you. It's a 61. I'm not. I got to keep this one. But no, he was such a phenomenon. We booked him to play the theater next door to the guitar shop. We have a big outdoor theater. I think we paid him like next to nothing. And the next year we're like, can we get him again? And this is after getting famous. It's like $40,000, and now it's like $80,000.
Well, that's what happens with the show a lot. People like that come on before their record comes out or whatever, or just as their first record comes out, and then the second record comes out, especially if it blasts like Marcus did.
Yeah, he caught fire.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, we'll get back to you.
Well, he's the next. He is in line with the Allman Brothers, and as far as like popular songs with his musicality is it's perfect. It's like Derek Trucks.
Yeah,
he's got that. He's got all of it.
Yeah, and then there's other bands like that, like out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. You've got, of course, the Headhunters, but you've got Otis.
Mm-hmm. My wife's from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, no kidding.
She grew up in Lexington, but she was born in Bowling Green.
Oh, wow.
Kentucky girl.
Yeah, I mean, there's something with the music over there, in the water over there, as far as what's going on musically.
Kentucky and like Tennessee and the Carolinas have something.
Yeah.
It's like it's a mixture of like just the family heritage of playing music, which mixed with some of the poverty of Appalachia.
Yeah,
mixed with trying to get out, and like it's and then mixed with just like this culture.
Yeah,
it's cool. There's a guy who comes to our shop. His name is Huey. He was a telephone installer for 40 years. Got hands like meat cleavers. He plays every Chet Atkins song note for note on the guitar. And that's his second instrument. That's not even his good one. He's a banjo player primarily. And it's the people we meet here. I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you, other than playing bass with Sean, do
No,
you?
Jonathan.
Oh, sorry, with Jonathan. And yeah, we didn't mention Jonathan nearly enough in this. Jonathan's great. We
He's
love
not
him.
important. We don't like Jonathan at all. He's sort of we have to have him on just for like he's the ugly version that we have to have on just so we have a certain audience. No, we love Jonathan's one of my best friends. He's not here on Sundays.
He's got a very pragmatic approach to guitars.
He's got a pragmatic approach to life.
Does he? Yeah.
That's just he's the straight man. I'm a little bit off kilt some, and he's got it. He's a great guitar player. He's a great singer. He's just a great guy to work with. He loves guitars too. He's one of the main guys you work with when you build a custom shop with us. He's excellent with that.
Yeah. So nowadays, when you're playing bass with him, do you get to sit down and just play a whole bunch, or not a whole?
When I play with him?
No, when you're just other than that.
No, sometimes it might be days when I don't get to play guitar. Sometimes it's really weird because everyone thinks you work at a guitar shop, you play guitar all day.
Right.
I literally don't get to touch one unless I'm doing demos
Hmm.
or if I'm maybe getting to show like an in the store person, like just what one might do, which is awesome. I love when that happens. I get to play. But in the nighttime, I might be here till 9 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because we're working with folks on the West Coast sometimes,
Right.
Right.
in other countries too. It's a weird, but I love it. So it doesn't. My wife doesn't mind because she doesn't like me that much, so she lets me just be away. Because the way this is all set up, the guitar shop it's called Casino Guitars because it's in a 1912 casino.
Right.
And the part I'm sitting in right now is part of the showroom in the back, and this was part of a 2-lane bowling alley at one point when it was that. I live above the guitar shop, and it's an old converted brothel whorehouse.
Oh, wow.
So that's where I live with my wife and 3 children, and that was so it's a big whorehouse. There's lots of whores, but no, my kids don't know what that is yet. They'll figure it out later and be like, "This is the coolest thing ever, Dad."
Right.
Dude, like I was like right here, like ladies were slamming old like Yankees that would come down the train. But no, because there was a big stopping point for all the rich New Yorkers, which stop here on the way to their winter homes in Florida.
In Florida, right?
Because the Amtrak train stops right in front of the guitar shop. It's awesome. So like you can take it all the way to Disney, all the way to Miami, all the way to New York City, all the way to Maine. It's but it's a weird it's a weird little place. It's cool. So I'm always I can work at 12 at night or at 6 in the morning, and it's fun. It's guitars.
Right. That's great. Non-guitar, since we're talking about North Carolina and Southern Pines in particular, what and it's completely not guitar. What's an indigenous food somebody should try when they visit North Carolina?
Barbecue.
Yeah.
It's North Carolina's kind of like it's the vinegar-based barbecue capital of the world.
Okay, so it's not a dry rub. It's
like the vinegar-based sort of like that's what you have. Like when you go out to out a little bit further west, it becomes more like the marinara, the ketchup-based.
Like Kansas City.
The shit barbecue. We have the good barbecue.
Yeah. That's what I tried to tell Samantha Fish. She wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, let her know. She's played with that guy, Zach Person I've talked about. They've played together too.
Oh, really?
Yes. No, but I would say we have a great barbecue restaurant right outside of town. It's about 15 minutes outside. It's called Pick and Pig, and it's an old it's an old one strip airport. So airplanes, like little private planes, are landing there while you're eating barbecue outside, and there might be a bluegrass band playing on the left. And it's the coolest little restaurant.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I love stuff. We have a lot of that, and I'm an Asian food junkie though. So anywhere I go, I want to get the best Asian food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's sort of my damn jam.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm all about the food too.
Yeah, I don't eat too much. Sometimes I forget, but I love good like sushi or good like Chinese food, or I like bad Chinese food too. I just like Chinese food.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Rob knows from like all the shitty ones, like in the little strip malls in Jersey or in New York. Yeah. I love those.
Really greasy.
Really I love it though. Like, I mean, you're gonna go to the bathroom right afterwards, but I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Or Jersey's full of the buffets too.
Buffets I gotta be careful with. I stay away from buffets.
Yeah.
I can't ever eat my worth in a buffet. So they're like, it's like $12, $15. Like, I can't eat $15 worth of Chinese food.
That's what they're banking on.
I got a friend here in Austin who comes in with these foldable Tupperware type things,
Oh God.
and he has them in a bag, and he goes to the buffets, and he just loads up his plate, then gets to his table and loads them up, puts them back in the bag, and then goes back and gets
And
more, and then eats, and then leaves.
then he has food for the next day. God bless him. I mean, I used to do it with movies. I would sneak into movies back in New York when I was younger.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
That's what we all did as kids. You know, you're supposed to
absolutely.
do that. Yeah,
yeah, you finish one and just walk into the next one.
Yeah,
that's how I saw The Born Identity for the first time. I went and saw I paid to see Wind Talkers. And I was like, let's go see this stupid Matt Damon movie afterwards. And it was like the greatest movie ever. I was like, what's happening?
yeah.
How is
That whole
Matt Damon
that whole
cool?
that whole franchise is great.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it back in the day. I still love movies. When
No,
my
I know
wife goes out, yeah,
you're
when my
quite the
wife,
cinephile. I know that.
no, I am. When my wife just left town, she had to go do something with a girlfriend for a bit, and so I was watching all the like Terminator 2,
Mm,
Oh, that's
the
my favorite.
Kingsman with my 6, 8, and 12-year-old. Like it's like let's come on. Like they say a lot of bad words, but they're British. It's okay. It's different.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I did that with my son when he was very little. I was put on, 4-year-old. I'm like, well, let's watch First Blood.
God bless them. You got to make him a man somehow.
Right? Yeah. Well, it was
yeah.
great when his mother's like, what did you let him watch? He's quoting this and that. I'm like, it's First Blood. It's okay. I saw it when I was like 5 or 6. It's
We
fun.
watched Blue's Clues. Just tell her that. Don't tell her. She doesn't need to know the truth.
Well, when he
I-
jumped out from behind the couch and grabs you and holds you and goes, let it go. Let it go.
Oh,
And she's like,
what
what
have
is
you
he
done to
talking?
him?
I'm like, oh, or shit, Tropic Thunder. Remember that one?
Oh,
Like,
I showed my kids that too the other day by accident. I was like, I forgot how bad that was. I was like, I got to stop this one.
yeah. No, I totally. He was like 6 or 7. I'm like, watch this. This is funny.
Tom Cruise is worth the price of admission on that movie.
He was great in that. I remember seeing that in the theater in LA and not knowing that was Tom Cruise for like the first like 10 minutes. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It blew me away. I love
good.
this stuff.
Yeah. Are you a Tarantino fan?
I love Tarantino. I've seen them all.
Yeah. That's my guy.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's one of my favorite Tarantino films.
That's
too. I think
brilliant.
I could watch that Brad Pitt, Bruce Lee scene over and over.
Yeah.
And the finale, oh my God, I just love I like how he takes history and just turns it how we want it to be.
Yes.
Right.
Like with
Glorious Bastards.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I almost showed that to my kids, and my wife's like, "No, I think that's a little bit." I'm like, "No, that's a Nazi one. It's cool. It's always fun to watch Nazis get killed." And,
Right.
and then she's like, "No," and she was right. I forgot how bad it was. Or Django, I was like, "Oh God," or the Hateful Eight. And I was like, "Jesus,"
Those are rough.
but they're so
Right.
good.
They are good.
Yeah, but a lot of bad words.
Yeah. It's funny that the weird thing about Hateful Eight, which is a brilliant film, especially it should be a play. And
that's what it feels like a play. It's like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
It feels like a play.
Absolutely. Because it was set in the winter, I hate the winter so bad that it was really hard for me to watch. I remember as a child, my parents took me to see Dr. Zhivago.
Oh God, that's mean of them to do that.
Yeah.
And
I remember leaving there feeling ill because it made me cold to watch it.
That's back when movies had intermissions too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think they should bring them back. Like I love movies, but like when they're 3.5 hours, give me a gosh darn intermission.
Yeah. Let me get a potty break and get something to eat.
Well, I mean, I love the new Avatar movies, James Cameron's, but like the new one's coming out in December, which a lot of people haven't realized, but December 17th, I think, the new Avatar Fire and Ash.
Right.
But that's probably 3 hours and 20 minutes. Like, give me a pee break.
Yeah. That's a long movie.
It's a long movie. And I like to watch Blue People. I think it's going to be a really sad Blue People movie. It's
Right.
going to be awesome.
Well, when I was younger, remember when Titanic came out? So we were probably
Of course.
No.
And I went and seen Titanic twice with 2 different girls, like within a week.
Good for you.
And I was very happy that I got the big drink, and I drank that with all that water and sitting there for 3 hours and watching the water. Then I had to pee once. Both
Jeez.
times. I was impressed.
You're impressed. You have the bladder of an elephant.
He's a camel.
He's gifted in ways we don't want to speak about.
It's funny because my family says that when we're driving down to Tennessee or North Carolina, this and that, I'm the type that I want to get there. They say, I'm like the machine. I'm going to get there.
Terminator.
And I got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, they're like, pull out the next exit. I'm like, okay. And we pass by. And like, the exit was, I say, oh, did I pass it? Oh, I'm sorry. And they're like, how can you you can hold it? And I'm like, I don't know. We just got to get there.
We have to because I need to be there at this certain time for no reason, but I have to.
Yeah.
You should just get them all stadium buddies. That's all.
I tried, but
those are good.
When
Stadium buddies are great.
What's a stadium buddy?
So basically, it's a tube that goes to a bag that's attached to your ankle or your calf.
Oh, Jesus, that's weird.
Yeah.
I
So you're
mean,
good to go.
it's kind of like a European turn-on type thing, but I'll just leave that to be. That's odd.
Baxter, I can't thank you enough for spending some time on your Sunday with us.
Mark, Rob, thanks for letting me hang out. This has been awesome, and I love your weird backwards guitar collection too.
Thank you.
No, you guys are super nice guys. I love that you've been doing this so long and the success you've had with it. You've had great people on it. It's a great show y'all do.
Been very blessed. And, I mean, my goal initially was to have this show be for the unknown guitar player, to give them a platform, because it was something that I didn't have in the 80s. And I was like, I want to give back somehow and do that, because there's so many great guitar players out there. And I have done that. So it was kind of odd when all of a sudden, people like Johnny Hyland contact you, or even Leslie West. When Leslie West did it, that was the game changer when Leslie was still alive. That was
I should put you in touch with like Richard Lloyd from television or something like he.
I would love to.
He is a trip, man.
I was part of that CB's crowd back in the day, the all day Sunday.
Yes. Like you and him was like just rippling. He's interesting. But he's either great or he's tough. You just don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, Paul tears me up every time he's on the show.
Oh yeah, there's some tough ones, but no, but he's a dear friend of mine. He's a phenom. But you're doing good stuff. This is like spreading the gospel, and the cool thing is like hopefully like some young cat will just turn on like, oh, this is interesting and fascinating, and like now I want to play guitar a little bit more.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. And to turn somebody on to a musician that they don't know, and get them to be interested in that player, because like I said, there's so many great players out there.
And when we get off, we started earlier, Rob, go look up that guitar. I mean, not guitar, but Court YouTube cat filter.
I will.
Oh yeah. That's how I was imagining you each time you're gonna pop up is like, I'm not a cat, Your Honor. He talks like this a bit. He was so upset, just an upset, strange, confused white man. It was wonderful.
That's
well,
great.
if we ever do this again, I'll get a cat emoji to hang over my face.
I want a cat filter on you just to make me. I'll just be happy the whole time. I'll go pantsless for sure for that one. It'll just be the best day ever.
When I come through North Carolina on a tour or traveling, I'll stop in the shop and I'll come with a cat, cardboard cat thing.
Say, just walk in with it. Oh my God, we're being robbed.
I know. Yeah, it's a weird robber, but he can have whatever he wants.
We're definitely going to come visit you at some point, without a doubt.
Mark, Rob, seriously, it was awesome. You guys have the best day ever. Go hang out with your family. Tell your wives you're sorry for being away from them, or you're welcome, is what my wife likes for me to say.
Oh, well, make sure you listen to our wives episode, because you'll
I'm going to pull that. Yeah, shoot me the link on that as soon as we get off this, Mark.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Absolutely. I'm going to write that down. Wife link.
That's
sounds like a website. Wife link.
I'm sure I can find it. I'm pretty savvy. Thank you guys again, though.
Thanks, man. Have a great day.
Cheers. Peace be with you guys.
Peace.
So long.